This morning we have Valerie Hendricks from Springfield, and she is going to be talking about her company, Dynamic Empire Consulting, and she does continuous improvement consulting. So we're excited to hear about that. So, Valerie, it's all yours. It's ready.
All right. All right, thank you everybody. I appreciate everybody being here, and I want to thank everybody from Joplin 1 Million Cups. Also, we are streaming live on LinkedIn today, so I have a global audience as well today. So I am Valerie Hendricks, and I provide, I do independent consulting. I help organizations with their process, their quality, and their value, while also decreasing their costs to create higher than above average profit margins. And I do that basically by removing anything that is not valuable within the organization. A little bit about me is I worked 10 years in the manufacturing field. I started out in accounting, and in 2008 we had the recession, and in the recession I learned about value analysis, value engineering, and I applied that information, which basically what it does is it gives a function to cost relationship, and we analyze that information towards what the customer requirements are, so that we are basically able to remove any unwanted costs into that. And I also, after a few years, once our sales and productivity started increasing, there was now a demand for more quality and Lean Six Sigma. So I became certified in ISO 9001 standards, where I led a group of teams to help with the quality. And then I also became Lean Six Sigma Green Belt, where I provided more quality into our product lines, as well as efficiency to help with the flow of production. I am currently an independent consultant. I have done this for almost 5 years now. And during the recession, during the pandemic, I wrote a book called Streamlining Function and Value, which is basically what I did in value analysis, value engineering. And I thought that I'm seeing a lot of issues that we had during the recession. So I decided to write that to gain more knowledge about that and provide information to other people so they can use the same tools as well. So how do I basically provide my consulting services? Is I do it in a 3-stage step. And in this 3-stage, I'm going to collect the information, I'm going to evaluate the information, and I'm going to provide an implementation form. With our collection of data, what the data that we are going to collect is going to be your voice of your consumer. We're going to understand and interpret what the customer is wanting and give a full understanding towards that. We're also going to want to know where the company wants to be in a 3 to 5 year period. So we're going to understand what the company's strategic development is. We're also going to look at the current conditions. We're going to look at the financial statements and anything else where the organization is going to have their pain points at. Then we're going to put together a roadmap of how we're going to improve the organization. And we're going to do this using different types of methodologies and tools together to provide the organization that roadmap to get them where they need to be into the future. And then we're going to make an implementation plan. What that implementation plan is that we're going to create teams together. We're going to have decision maker teams. We're also going to have a problem solving teams. And within these problem solving teams, they're going to be having a creative learning process where they're also going to learn these processes so that as a consultant, as soon as you leave the door, you wanna make sure that your organization is capable of sustaining all the changes. So if you have teams that knows and understands how to make these changes, they're educated about making the decisions and keeping those changes together. And then, providing the coaching and mentorship towards those teams so that those decisions can be made. We're also gonna be implementing the solutions and to create those results, as well as drive the success, that success plan that we talked about in the evaluation stage. And again, this is a general feedback loop, so as soon as we finish, we're going to be starting all over again, because this is continuous improvement. So once we finish one project, we go back, we gain more feedback, and we start all over again. So it's a consistent loop. So in return of investment, when we look towards consulting, we're looking at a 15 to 20% consulting fee towards the savings that you get. So if you save $100,000, your typical consulting fee is going to be 15 to 20% of that. So your return on investment is quite high on this, and not only in the return on investment towards your savings, but you're also going to get an increase in value of your products, because we're going to be using a value analysis, value engineering. So we're going to be able to remove any of the unwanted costs and make your product more highly valuable to your customers, as well as provide exactly the transportation and lead times that your customer wants. So it becomes actually more valuable, and you start gaining market shares in your products and services. And of course, we're going to be decreasing costs all at the same time. So general conclusion is, if you increase your productivity, you increase your quality, and you increase your value, and you remove any unwanted costs, you're going to be able to increase your profitability quite substantially. Here is my contact information. You are welcome to get out your QCR code, and that has all my information onto one page. If you don't have any QCRT on your phone, you can go to Linktree /Valerie, VALORIE Hendricks with an X. And I appreciate that so much. Any questions?
Can you take a minute and kind of tell us a little about what maybe some of the challenges are and how we as a community can help you?
So my biggest challenge is that I moved from Springfield right before the pandemic, and I got started into Springfield, and then the pandemic hit, and so I felt like I have restarted my organization 3 times. And so with the networking and everything else that goes in towards marketing, it has been difficult for me to gain leads and find organizations that would just listen to me, and trying to gain trust and network with other people to gain those leads. So that's my biggest issue that I have. Again, you know, what I do for my marketing, you know, I wrote a book. I do in-person networking as much as I personally can. I write a monthly article in our local business journal. I post in LinkedIn anywhere between 3 and 5 times a week. I host 1 to 2 LinkedIn presentations about the subject. I do a monthly newsletter. I'm a guest speaker to different podcasts. I've started TikTok, Clubhouse, and Buzz Influencer. So I spend actually probably more time in my marketing than I do actually consulting right now.
And what area do you cover?
So right now I do basically manufacturing. That's but in continuous improvement, it can be generally used in any form of industry. I also am highly curious into pivoting into the software development companies, because I'm very curious to understand why it costs so much to develop new software.
All right, who's got a question for Valerie? Oh, no, don't be bashful.
I can ask some questions.
I was gonna say, you know, it's the first question.
So, a couple of things. Number one, I'm curious, you mentioned right now manufacturing is your ideal client base. Do you have a list of potential clients and how often are you cold calling them? So, if you wanna grow a business, the easiest way to do it would be target, if you can work nationally, I don't know if you are able to do consulting remotely, but you're stuck regionally because you have to do it in person, then I'd compile a list of all of the ideal clients that there are, and then create a 12 to 16 week cold calling program. So I do this, and I call every single Monday, all of the clients that I wanna work with, and then there's value add information that I'm emailing out each week, and then text messages follow up. And it's just a grind over and over every single week, but compiling that list of clients is a great way to start. And then the other thing you can do is leverage your vendor network. So the clients that you currently have, if things are going well, ask them what companies that they're doing business with, and see if maybe you can get into some of the vendors and things that they have that way. It's a good way to, people that you're doing business with now like you, and you can get a warm referral and just keep expanding that way. But if you aren't cold calling, that would be a good place to start. That's not exciting, but it's very effective. So.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And don't let me forget, but, I actually have a database of people you want, so we'll get together and talk about that. Okay, who else? Okay,
Hi, I have a question.
all right.
Okay, so Valerie, I was trying to find your logo earlier and find your company online. I had a little difficulty with that. So do you have, is there a website? Do you have a website?
Yes,
Like-
yes, it's dynamicempireconsulting.com.
Okay, because I think I found it, but then I was confused whether, because there wasn't like an actual
Okay.
logo on there.
Mhm.
So I think that could help, I think branding might be important. It seems like you're already spending a lot of time on your marketing sort of promotion side, so maybe just make sure all that is consistent and fluid too. That's my feedback.
Empire, or Dynamic Empire Consulting.
Yes.
Doug's got a question.
What is your favorite business book that you've read that you lean on to help you keep your pencil sharp?
So, besides my book, of course, I'm gonna promote my book.
Good answer.
So, I read a lot of books. Probably one of my favorite authors is going to be Robin Cooper, who, he writes for the Harvard Journal. And he also he's also written several other books. And a lot of his books are basically based on continuous improvement and cost analysis towards that. So to really understand how to provide better continuous improvement, we gotta make sure that our organization is taken care of and has that profitability to be able to reinvest into the organization, into the employees, and to create even more value to the customers and employees.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.